Welcome to the My Creative Days podcast, where we will talk about all things DIY, home decor, decorating tips, and creating a beautiful home on a budget. I am hoping our time together will spark a creative idea, help you plan your next DIY, or inspire you to finally tackle that project you keep putting off. Grab your favorite cup of motivation and let's chat. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. What I wanted to talk about today is conquering indecisiveness in furniture flipping. And this came from a comment from one of our Academy members. And I thought it was a really good topic to bring up here on the podcast, and just some things to get you thinking and just ways to get through this, because it can be crippling. Like, it can really halt your entire process. And that's not what we're trying to do when we're flipping furniture, right? Like, we need to get the projects done. We need to move through them. That's the goal. So I'm going to share what the question came in, or comment that came in, and then I'm going to kind of walk through this. So this is what she had to say. One of my biggest struggles when I am getting started on a piece is being indecisive with what I envision for the final product. It can always go in so many different directions that it can be difficult for me to choose. First of all, and I've said this a billion times on the podcast. If it's through the Academy, or if you are reaching out to me on Instagram or email, whatever, I love when you send in your comments and like your concerns and your like the things you're dealing with, because it's so helpful to everybody else. So we're going to talk about 10 tips that will help you make decisions with confidence when it comes to your furniture flipping, and just so you can like get on with the process and not get stuck. So why does indecisiveness happen in the beginning or in the first place, especially in furniture flipping? And when I initially started out, and this it may be more common with newbies, but it's also people that, even now I'll find a piece and I'll know, for me to sell this piece, I've got to do this, but it would be really cool if I could, do this, but I don't want to keep it. So I know I got to sell it. It's easy to get overwhelmed by all the possibilities. Should I paint it? Should I stain it? Should I go bold? Should I go neutral? Should I just make it timeless? Will it sell better if I go with this look or that look? The analysis paralysis is legit, and it can stop you even before you start. Part of it is fear too, right? You're afraid to make the wrong choice. You're afraid that the piece won't turn out the way you hope, and that maybe it won't sell. The good news is that indecision doesn't have to hold you back. So I'm going to share 10 strategies you can use to overcome it and get your project moving. So, number 1, define the purpose for your piece. So basically ask yourself, is this piece for resale? Is it personal use, or is it a practice piece? And inside the Academy, I will tell especially newbies, find those pieces, the free pieces, and there are easy ways to find free pieces of furniture, but practice pieces are a legitimate thing, and you definitely need to get them and pick them up. And if you're somebody that's been doing it for a while, maybe you want to start doing something new or trying a different technique. Again, practice pieces are going to come into into what you are looking for. So think about if you are selling, so I'm talking now to somebody that is, flipping this to sell. Think about your target market. And again, I teach all of that inside the Academy, but you need to know who is the person that's coming to pick up this piece once you get it done, right? And then that's going to help you make the decision. And then obviously if it's a piece for you, you're going to focus on your style and what you love, but if you have a clear goal and start there, define your purpose for the piece, it's going to narrow down your choices, right? That's going to help with the indecisiveness. Set a time limit for decision making. I know this sounds weird, but you should use this in like your life, and sometimes, in other things. If you are somebody that has a hard time saying, yep, doing that. Nope, not doing that. You know what I mean? Like making a decision, give yourself a strict deadline. Is it 30 minutes? Is it 24 hours? Sometimes for me, some of like the biggest choices or biggest decisions or bigger decisions, it's like, even with my kids, I will say, sleep on it. There is no reason why you have to rush, if it's especially a decision that, you don't need right away, sleep on it. Wake up and see how you feel about it. Your gut instinct is telling you really what you should do. Go with that, but sleep on it. So give yourself some kind of strict deadline, and you have to stick to it. Okay. And usually Usually, the first idea that pops into your head is often the right one. Okay, number 3, find a starting point. Choose one design element to guide the rest of your project. So this could be a color, a specific style, or even hardware you want to put, on the piece when it's done. Start small. Starting small can make the big picture like less overwhelming. I know I want to paint this piece pink, whatever. That alone, okay, that's fine. Now I don't have to think about what the overall look's going to look in the end. I don't have to worry about hardware right now. I don't have to be paralyzed by all those other decisions. I know I'm painting this thing pink. So that's what you're going to do, right? You're going to just find that starting point, that momentum to get you going forward. And that's going to help you get through the rest of the project without stalling or coming up with, that indecisiveness coming up again. So create a mood board. So this is a good thing that you should be doing all the time. Gather inspiration from Pinterest, Instagram, blogs, wherever you find it. But limit yourself to 3 to 5 ideas. So I love it when a beginning flipper, they will, let's say they find, somebody that's been flipping furniture forever and they are hand painting furniture, right? Like they are actually, painting florals or something or landscapes on furniture. I'm really going one end to the other, but they'll be like, okay, I want to do that. Like, that's what I want to do. That's great. And that's a good place to start. Put that on your mood board, but put that on your mood board for not this week with the pieces we have, right? Limit yourself to 3 to 5 ideas. And again, if you're starting off, they need to be simple ideas. Any more than that, you're going to be back to square one and we're not going to be able to make decisions and we're not going to get the project done. So create a mood board, but limit it. And then it is kind of fun to have that mood board or have that resource when you're like, gosh, what was that? I know I really liked this such and such. Maybe it's a color. Maybe they distressed it. Maybe whatever. But it's like, then you can just pull up that mood board quick and you're like, yep, that's it. Like, I want to try that on this piece. Number 5, trust your instincts. So there's no perfect choice. And if you're into DIYing anything, like I'm not even just talking furniture flipping, not always is it going to go as planned, right? So go with what excites you the most in the moment and let yourself enjoy the creative process. And a lot of times I will tell people it's paint. If you are painting, I guess I should say, it's paint. You can change that, right? If you're starting to go in a direction, I've done this many times. I've done it in our walls on our home, in flip houses and furniture flips. It just doesn't look like the way I thought it would. It's paint. I just have to do a little bit more work, but trust your instincts. Number 6, break the project into smaller steps. So that's kind of what we talked about before. If the whole project feels like too much, oh my gosh, I have to clean it. I have to, sand it. I have to prime it. I have to paint it. I have to top coat it, but not if you're using my favorite all-in-one paint. It's got all of that in one and that takes it all down to one step. So I hope I remember, but we will try and remember to put the link to that. It's the Silk all-in-one paint. It's a game changer. Everybody should be using that paint. It just cuts down on time. And if you're a beginner, it cuts down on all those extra steps. So it's less easy and not overwhelming. But anyway, I digress here. If the whole project feels like too much, just focus on one step at a time. So I will tell beginner flippers like, okay, today's cleaning day. So if you have a couple of pieces you found over the weekend, do not think on Monday you have to get them all done from A to Z on Monday, right? Today's cleaning day. You're going to really go through them thoroughly and you're going to clean them all, right? Remove the hardware, vacuum them out, and really give them a good cleaning. And then just do them in smaller steps and don't think it has to be done all at one time. And to be completely honest, if you are doing the process and you have all those steps, primer, paint, top coat, you shouldn't be getting them done in 2 hours. Like all of those, products need time to dry and cure a little bit. It shouldn't be done in 2 hours. So break the project up into smaller steps, right? Decide on a base color first, move on to the finishes, then the hardware, just break it down. Number 7, start with a simple design. I can't remember if I wrote a blog post about this or if it's something I talked about in the academy or something, but I feel like people think they have to have this like amazing 15 color makeover for it to be any good or for it to, number 1, this is going to go, don't compare yourself to anybody else, right? And don't compare your journey to anybody else. My simplest makeovers are the ones that will sell the fastest. That's what people in my target market and what I'm doing and have done in the past, that's what they want. There was a time if I distressed anything, I couldn't, like it would sell really fast. But simple is what sells best for me. So you don't have to be just start with a simple timeless design. Like get really good at that. Simple neutral colors. Like a black piece is always great no matter what home or decor, whatever you have. A black statement is really good. White, neutrals, creams, and an updated hardware, like that goes a long ways. And it's a safe bet. And if you are somebody that continuously just cannot decide what you want to do, stick with simple, and then you can build off of that when you start getting more confident and you start, making those choices easier. Then you can start branching away from that. Number 8, limit your options. This is so true. So like with that mood board, that's why it's keep it simple, right? And only do a couple of ideas. Because if you have 57 ideas on a mood board, it's just overwhelming, right? If you're torn between 6 ideas, narrow it down to 2 and flip the coin. Like it may come down to that, and that's okay. It just flip the coin. Or if you have a trusted, a friend or something that is, you really like their style or they always have good ideas, say, okay, I'm doing this black or white. Which one do you think it would look best? And then go with what they say. So limit your options. Number 9, don't let perfectionism stop you. This is one that I deal with, and I'm getting a lot better at it, but have dealt with this in so many areas of my life. And my mom, like from little, I did this. When I was little, one of my favorite things to do is we would go visit my grandma, and I would bring my encyclopedia, and I had notebooks on animals, and I would copy from the encyclopedia about animals. And I just wanted this nice handwritten book of what was in the encyclopedia, I guess. I don't know. But if I messed up, I would rip out the entire page and I would have to start all over. I took that into high school and college. In college, I would, take notes over the lecture, and then I would come home and I would rewrite all of those so they were perfectly good and looked really nice and were all organized. Oh my gosh, I could tell you a lot more stories like that. I'm thinking of a few, but I'm not going to embarrass myself. So anyway, perfectionism is a real thing, but no, here, I should say this. It's not a real thing, but it's something that people really can debilitate you. It can really stop you in your tracks. So if your piece doesn't turn out exactly how you envisioned, every project, I tell everybody this in the DIY world, every project is a learning experience. I cannot tell you the amount of things Matt and I have learned with furniture flips to house flips, just on our own, just doing the dang thing, right? We have learned right now, as I'm recording this, we are in a flip house project, and there was a leak in the tub upstairs. And that's usually oh my gosh, my dad would be like, oh, that's plumbing. He just never liked to do plumbing. He taught us a lot. But anyway, but Matt was like, I think I know where it's coming from. And he fixed it. It's just, every project is a learning experience. And you really want to look at it that way, right? The beauty of furniture flipping is that you can always try something new on the next piece. And you can always try something new on the piece that you don't like. It's called sanding and repainting it. It's not the end of the world. So don't let perfectionism stop you. And number 10, take a break and come back fresh. So this is a huge one, and I do this often with furniture flips. I have to walk away from it. If it's for the afternoon, if it's for a full day, if it's for the full weekend or a week. I know now that I get to that point, and Matt and I kind of know when working together, DIYing, we're like, okay, you need a break. It's time to walk away. Let's go do something else. Or you just get to that point, and it's so great when you learn, yep, I've kind of reached my point here. I got to walk away from it. And I am telling you, you will walk back to that project feeling so much better, and so much, your attitude's just going to be perfect about it. Not perfect, but you know what I mean? It's just so much better. It's the next time you come to it, you're excited to work on it again instead of dreading it. So take a break and come back fresh. Okay, I hope those helped, because indecisiveness, when you are, especially when you're first starting out, it is a real thing. but it's something you need to get over and you need to work through. And it's just through small steps and doing these few things, it'll make the biggest difference in your journey. You not being able to make a decision, let's just start there, stop you from flipping furniture, because it's part of the process, but it's something that you can definitely conquer. So if you have any questions, let me know. You can reach out to me at email, lindsay@mycreativedays.com, or reach out to me on Instagram at mycreativedays. I love hearing from the podcast listeners. It means the world to me that you are enjoying the podcast. And if there are any topics or things you'd like me to chat about here, I would love to hear from you. So until next time, I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you very soon. Hello, friends. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'm grateful that you tune in every week and that you share the show with your family and friends. I love having creative chit chats with you, and my hope is that this podcast will inspire you to try a new project, start a DIY that you've been putting off, and decorate your home exactly how you want it. There are a few ways you can help us with the podcast. Follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode. And if you could take a few minutes to leave the podcast a review, that would help us so much. Again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to our chat next week. Bye-bye.